What do you say, everybody? Welcome to Elephant in the Room. Great to have you with us here on Disrupt the Media Roll Tide Pods. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment as well. We love to hear from you guys and appreciate all of the comments. Obviously, this show is a lot different than what we envisioned when we were talking about important issues like women's basketball last show. Hey, let me remind you guys this. It's this show is brought to you by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code NEXTROUND. And with that, up to 50% price match, up to $1,000 as you make your picks. And, as you found out last show, I'm as hot as a firecracker right now. But if you're not, another guy that's really hitting them right now is Lance at lanceslock.com. But it is always great to bring on the crew here. Jake Coker, Ryan Anderson, I'm Mick Gillispie. Obviously, it's great to see you guys, but this sucks.
Good to be seen, man. Yeah. Good to be seen.
This sucks.
Hoping this lightens the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got some good news. Got a brand new bottle of Blanton's here.
That'll do it.
Oh,
brand new bottle. We're gonna crack this open. And we've got
cheers to Coach.
Cheers to Coach, man. I mean, before we talk about anything else, I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. I guess I've been around this longer than you because I'm older. I remember being at Alabama and we sucked, and then we got a little better, and then we got worse, and we got a little better, and then Coach Saban showed up, and we've been kicking people's asses since 2008, and it's been fun. 17 years. A lot of ass whoopings over the years. You guys were part of that.
I don't know. It's kind of like, to me, it's like I was about to say before we started the show, it's like one of those landmarks during your life where you kind of feel like you lose your identity a little bit as a player for Coach Saban. I mean, it's like that last high school football game, that last college football game. Just going back to Tuscaloosa without Coach Saban there is going to be, feel like there's a missing piece, somewhere within that program, or it's a memory. I love the memories, but it kind of feels like part of that memory is lost, and now that he's not going to be there. So I don't know. And again, I've been making this statement lately. I mean, I'm sitting here talking like he's dead, but I mean, that's what it really just feels like. When I go back, I'm not going to see him, and even it's not like when I went back, I sat there and had, hour-long conversations with him, but just you can feel his presence around the building when you're there.
Yeah.
Mick, I just don't know what to say. Like I said,
also for all the people that didn't see Ryan walk in, it was like, I mean, I felt like, I needed to give him a hug.
Yeah, all of us. All of us need a hug.
Yeah. So he had a hell of a run, though. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's Jake Coach. It's like
here's a hug for me.
It's the end of an era.
Woo.
That's a big.
Is that a big pour right there? Well, just sip on that.
Mick ain't stingy with the good shit either.
Nick is not stingy.
That's what I'm talking about.
You ready, Jake? You just tell me.
You can be stingy on
yours. I don't have like a.
I'm gonna ask him that for tomorrow. I'm gonna put that in the water bottle.
Yeah. You can leave it right there and you can be asleep
it's
on
those
the couch.
It's those glasses. They're hard to figure out like how much you're pouring in there.
Yeah, I mean that was about as shitty as your beer pour.
Actually, that's a great pour.
Yeah.
Now that way you can let it last the
whole
episode.
It'll last me the
show. I was shocked. I didn't see this coming. I mean, I thought it was a possibility, but and honestly, man, I definitely, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I haven't noticed that there's been, a little bit of a slip with Coach, but he's getting older. I mean, 72. Yeah. It's not like he's still not the best though, which is crazy. I mean, but his standard is so high. Right. He's never not given 110%. And Jake, I was telling this on one of my other shows. Is you saying that you would leave late and his light would still be on and his car would still be outside.
Yeah. Like that Mercedes was permanently installed in that parking lot.
Yeah. Display one.
I mean, no other car in there except for that AMG, I don't know. You gotta lead by example.
Who you gonna hire with that much style? I would say I ain't trying to go through 2-3 more coaches. You know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure on somebody.
And how does I mean, look, no offense to short people or anything, but a guy that small have that much of an impact. I mean, just that much charisma, that much of a presence over a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds that are all massive humans and can just walk in and own them.
The kids, they call it Riz.
I mean, how does a guy like that just come in and dominate a room as soon as he walks in?
I don't know.
You know, I remember the first recruiting trip or first time I met him was at my house. And as soon as he walked in, it was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, this guy, this is a different animal.
Well, my fantasy football team is called Big Mick Energy, but it's really because I saw where people were saying that there's Big Nick Energy, and I stole that.
Yeah.
He's got that big energy.
He does. You said that Blanton's a little too fast.
No, it's just it's supposed to be dry January, but I've got it on the end of my cigar here.
Oh, you ain't drinking?
I got some. Oh, I'm gonna drink.
I don't think I'm trying to keep dry as my damn face.
Yeah.
I'm drinking.
Yeah, you got to make an exception.
I'm drinking. You think that I'm not going to drink some of this plant?
I'm drinking, man.
I was like, what am I going to get? And I'm looking through and I'm like, oh, I got to take the plant.
You should have just told us you were drinking.
Well, I wasn't. I mean, like, it's been hard for me.
Come on, Mick.
I'm drinking. I'm drinking.
Nick, when Coach just retired, we got to drink something.
We are. I'm in.
I don't drink like I'm drinking it this evening, man.
I'm in.
I got to keep it together.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard.
That's crazy, man.
I just feel like I don't know, man. I didn't sleep good last night, man. I just kept thinking about like all of the great things that just how spoiled we've been, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just how spoiled it's been to have this run.
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's not even about the wins and loss. It's just, I mean, of course, Coach Saban wouldn't be as legendary as he is if he hadn't won. But
it's how he did it, ain't it, Coach?
Oh yeah,
How he did.
I mean, my biggest I guess feeling of loss in this again is him not being around. Just you go to practice, you go see the guys, and he's there, and you know you feel like all is right. You know, as someone who was able to be influenced by him in such a big way.
Yeah.
You know, and you've also got, I think about the Jeff Allens and other guys on staff, other people on staff, Ginger, Jeremy Sell, Denzel, you know, I mean, all these guys that you love so much and you want them to be around forever, and you just don't know what the next step's going to be if these guys are going to be around.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's the same, Coach. That's exactly how I feel. It ain't like, I just like, I'm happy to be a part of it, but it's like, damn, it is, was that rough? That's how I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. Like, how's it going to be? You know what I mean? And you can always, I'm a shit talker, so I'm always hanging my hat on that.
Yeah.
It don't matter. That's Saban. It don't matter what's going on over there. I don't care who over there. That's Coach Saban.
Yeah, yeah. So. Well, that's the. I mean, you think about it, and it's one thing I didn't realize. Well, look, I mean, started at Florida State, and I loved Florida State. Loved everybody there. I mean, from everybody that worked there. But when I came to Alabama,
you saw Jimbo one shit. Yeah.
I'll say this.
I'm playing. I ain't mean to put him in the picture.
No. What I'll say about that? Y'all are killing me.
My bad.
No. I think Jimbo was trying to do what Coach Saban had done at Alabama and done at other places, but didn't have the kind of support and buy-in necessary to make Florida State what Alabama was.
Right.
And I mean, hell, when we were playing in Alabama, if you needed something, it was done like that.
Exactly.
And it was almost like a coddled type atmosphere, and you don't realize how good you had it until you left and you start working in other places and you see how businesses run and how everything operates. When you've got that big of a group, that big of a entity that just runs as efficiently as that place did, and people are working their ass off to do the best job they possibly can. I mean, that's a special atmosphere, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just with people with that infectious those personalities, that attitude, that work ethic. I mean, it just breeds winning, and it's hard to find a place like that anywhere else, no matter what industry you're in.
Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, I know that, like, for me, like, I've talked to, like, Theo Epstein of the Cubs, won World Series with Boston and the Cubs, and Jed Hoyer. And you know what I always talk about? Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Because even as great as those guys are, they still haven't been able to come back the next year and come back the next year, you know, like always trying to figure out what that formula is. And they're, you know, Theo's like the greatest GM, I think, of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat the curse of the Bambino and the curse of the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's got the most coveted rings ever.
I do have to clarify one thing, because I just thought about it. What my point was in that Florida State Alabama comment was, I mean, at Alabama, of course, I think Coach Saban proven he knows the formula. Alabama gave him everything that he needed in order to create a lifestyle for players that was unmatched by anyone else in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew exactly what that was. At Florida State, I think Jimbo had that idea and wanted that, but couldn't quite get there until he won a few national championships. And of course, everything that happened at Florida State, it didn't come to fruition. But I mean, you could just see the difference in backing from the administration of Coach Saban. You see that difference in the support there in comparison to Florida State. And again, love both programs, but you could definitely see a difference.
When Coach Saban got to Alabama, we had an administration, in my opinion, that and boosters that were out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they made it hard on those football coaches. They were constantly battling internal deals, you know, and they're like, oh, well, you're dealing with this coach wanting this for their team, and this, you know, needing this budget, but it's going somewhere else. Or that's why Franchione rolled out, you know, hey, we can't even use our own indoor facility or something, you know, where these boosters are doing this. Saban came in and he was like, shut the fuck up and get out of here. I'll coach football and you just sit back and watch.
If you want to be there, if you want to come here, this is what you're going to have to
But that's what we had to have. Yeah. You know, and then I remember that.
It's just somebody that told everybody, hey, I got this. If you want to hear this, how it's going to be.
Yeah, right. And I mean, and I'm not, we appreciate all those people, you know, we can't do it without the booster, especially, you know, now. And so it's not, I'm not taking a shot at anyone in particular, but there were just a lot of different voices. And when he came in, there was one voice. Yeah. And there's been one voice. And it took that personality that you talk about going into your house, and you know right away, hey, this guy's in charge.
Well, you're talking about somebody who was equally as good at somebody that was equally as good at X's and O's as he was on the administrative side. And if you put him in any industry, he's gonna do well.
Yeah. But the other, what my point was, is that you could be one of the greatest of all times of doing this stuff and still not match his ability to stay focused. Honestly, besides Bill Belichick, I don't even know that I've ever seen that in any sport, where a coach can be that successful and not be satisfied, or not allow the success that they're having to influence what they do. You know, like that's
because it's not about the wins and losses to him.
Yeah.
It's about the day-to-day process. And if he's doing everything he can do to make him happy with what he's done each day.
Yeah.
He mastered college football.
Yeah.
He mastered it. Like, they literally changed it so it would be competitive. Like, he mastered it.
Yeah.
Like he
Oh,
really
yeah.
did. Like he mastered that shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's no
I mean,
rules now, and
Yeah,
that's why,
like-
you know what I'm saying. Like, there's no rules. There's no, like, it's the only thing that we have sports wise that has no rules. I mean, it's like the Wild West. Like, hey, everybody can transfer. You can pay whoever you want as much as you want to pay them. I mean, there's no.
Well, yeah. I mean,
there's no guidelines.
You can blame the NCAA for that.
Yeah.
Just a freaking Stone Age group of people that never changed and felt like they'd have power forever.
Yeah.
And you know, just took advantage of all that power as well. And you know, now all of a sudden we've got legislation that makes sense, but we're behind the times in terms of setting rules because we've had a bunch of dumbasses running it for. And I say dumbasses, they probably done a lot of really good stuff and been really successful.
I like the term dumbass.
Yeah, they probably done a lot of dumbass stuff too. Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
But in terms of college football, yeah, I mean they've done some stupid shit.
That's what I think too. And now you kind of get into this spot, and eventually there's going to be somebody else. I mean, we can talk about that eventually. Yes, in 1 year way. But right now is kind of that time where we're reminiscing over how great the whole thing was, and eventually it was going to have to change. But none of us wanted that. It's just now's the time.
I wasn't ready this year.
Yeah, me neither.
Damn, Mick, not like that.
I was never going to be ready.
Yeah, man. But,
you know, I respect him for doing it the way he did because he didn't want the final lap celebration.
Yeah.
But damn it, I wish he'd have done it because I'd have been ready to go to a lot of games and see him.
Oh man, hey, not going
tell
to the
him how
Rose
much
Bowl.
I appreciate him, and
you
know,
we were all going to go to the Houston. We were going to go to Houston, you know, and they came up short. And man, should have went to the Rose Bowl. You know, but what are you going to do now? I mean, we've gone to. I mean, I got a whole lunchbox full of tickets. You know, I mean, you know, that's what I got to keep telling myself. Just make me believe that.
So who y'all think gonna be coaching?
Oh man,
I
thought it was Dan Lanning.
Well, he out.
Yeah, he's out. People have been saying his buyout's $20 million, but I've heard that it's closer to like $50 million.
Really?
Yeah.
We ain't got that kind of money for Dan. I like Dan, but we ain't got that kind of money for him.
No.
I liked him when he was at Alabama. I didn't know him all that well, but
how well did you guys? You were there with him.
Oh, he worked with outside linebackers when I was there.
Yeah, so
he
you
was
got.
in our room.
Yeah, how was he?
Good dude. Like he asked a lot of questions. He was one of them type you could tell like he was driven.
Yeah.
So he moved the ranks pretty fast.
Yeah.
College football.
Hell, you heard his story about living, I mean, off nothing with a wife and kids and busting his ass for years, and you know, just a solid guy who cares about being successful and providing for his family. And
he'll go get him.
oh yeah, it seems to do it all the right way, you know.
Yeah.
But
well, I don't think he's out. I think that he's saying he's out, but I mean, until it's done, it's not done. You know, I'm glad that it's that Greg Burns making this decision and not some of these other.
Do we have a coach for the weekend now?
Not one of the other athletic directors.
so
Matt Moore did a great job. If this is what I think, guys. I think that we use the same formula that we used with Saban. We go to Athens and we say, hey, man, 17 million enough? 18 million enough, Kirby? How about 20 million? And buy Kirby and bring him back. Because, I mean, that's if you want to keep what's going.
Kirby ain't gonna leave Georgia.
Well, but I mean,
how
much money?
And if you try, I feel like if you tried, it just add a little fuel to the fire.
Nah, throw it on there. I mean, let's just make him say no.
Fuck it, Mick.
That's what I'm saying.
Just go for it.
Well,
I like it, Mick.
Think about it. I mean, like he's the guy that gets our culture. I mean, and maybe it's going to be one of these other guys that comes in and does a great job.
What about Mel Tucker? They ain't called Mel Tucker.
I haven't heard his name. You know, I mean, but it's got.
He was there for a little bit.
I was like, where's he going with that?
Are you-
I'm just asking. I'm thinking,
Are you giving
man.
no?
I
Is that
I don't know what. I'm confused. I need a head coach, man.
is that where you're putting it? You're going to put it? Is that your pick there?
I just want. I'm just thinking about Curry culture.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to go there, but Mark Stoops, I'm telling you, hidden gem.
You think Mark a good one?
I love him to
Really?
death.
Can he recruit?
Oh yeah. Oh, you'd love him. You'd love him if he was sitting on that couch.
Yeah.
He's
Man,
great.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
If you win at Kentucky in this league, I mean, even a little
Can you
bit.
imagine
you're good.
what he'd do in Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do y'all think we got a coach before the weekend out?
Yeah.
Think so?
Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm
I keep
guessing.
hearing what 72 hours.
That's
That's
what
what
the
I
word
heard.
is.
I mean,
What are your sources telling? Do you guys have sources?
I heard 72 hours too, but it's just like,
I keep
is it
hearing
rushed at that point?
I keep hearing 3 different stories from 3 different reputable sources. So I've given up on giving a shit anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it? I mean, anything you can share?
That's all I
No.
heard.
Anything you want to divulge here? Oh man.
I'll tell you what,
I just want
I
to
would.
say sight. I want to just say sight.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
I tell you, I mean, I wouldn't tell you even if I mean, if I was told anything, I wouldn't share on this podcast. But I will tell you this: I've called Denzel, I've called Ellis, and those fuckers won't call me back.
That's because they saw you all over the place yesterday.
I guess
Everywhere I turned, there was Jake.
I
talking.
did interview the same guy twice today. Really, Phil Potton.
Did you? I know you were on the next round, and then our local friend here, Paul Kennedy. Yeah.
Cocaine on that.
What do you say in these interviews? Like, hey,
Same thing over and over again.
yeah,
Yeah. I can have fun with this one though.
yeah. they hand you some Blantons.
They ain't getting that.
And you know we pour pretty deep here, so
Yeah. They're going to make me a pallet. I already told them be ready.
well, when you got that pulls out into a bed.
Yeah. I just,
We got a spare
give them
bedroom.
a pat on the ass and they shit in my hand.
They probably feel like me today, Coke. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was kind of worried about the first couple of days after the championship game. You know, once that that the excitement of winning that football pool, Mike Johnson sent me that money.
Yeah.
I was happy for a couple of days. You know, I'm like, I was a little worried. I was going to go to Joe Patty's and get some seafood yesterday, and I was like, I probably need to stay around here.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know why. I was like, I just had this gut feeling, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I started getting all those messages and stuff, I was like, man.
I didn't believe it at first. I
didn't
thought it
wanna
was going to be
believe
that. I got sent a link, and I thought it was going to be a picture of the guy that I always send y'all.
The big guy.
Yeah.
Very big guy sitting on the edge of the bed.
He's a big giant.
I've seen him on Christmas ornaments and stuff. Yeah, no,
Man.
I somebody told me, and I'm like, oh, this can't be right. And then Chris Lowe hit it, and I was like, oh, it's right, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, again, I think everybody was shocked. I don't think anybody knew.
No,
I don't think anybody outside of Greg Byrne knew.
yeah. I mean, that's what I understand is that him and his agent went in and told Greg, what I understand, and then went and told the team.
Yeah.
And he told the players before he told anybody, I guess, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, part of what his success has been is guys like you that went out there and played for him. And I guess that's probably why he wanted to make sure that the players heard from him and everybody. I mean, he told everybody at once.
Yeah. He gave recruits too a chance to, go somewhere else and make a better decision too before February. So,
Yeah. Well, there's a 30-day window, and apparently the players had a meeting and decided to stick together for right now. And I hope they do. And I hope whoever they hire is someone that they feel comfortable with, you know. I'm guessing that they will.
Well, the scary part now is, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, it's, Les Miles was able to come in to LSU and be really successful because of the recruits that Coach Saban brought in. But now
Everybody
guys just up and leave.
Yeah, it's a wild west.
I mean,
Yeah. We did a live reaction show, and Ryan Williams decommitted before I even got finished with the show. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't get him back. It's just kind of like, one of those things where you just,
man, all of a sudden
you're getting pulled in a million directions.
Yeah.
And, here's a way to kind of get off the hook on this.
Hugh Freeze came in, and I was like, man, it's
He a
Coach
good
Saban
coach.
leaves, we're going to be
You gonna have a
in
damn,
some trouble.
exactly, because you a damn
And
good
this
coach.
has all happened. It's all manifested way too quick.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some candidates. Lane Kiffin.
I knew you were going to bring that one up first.
Well, everybody keeps asking me. I got people from Ole Miss
I mean,
asking me, and
he know how to coach it too now. So
yeah, you guys know him. I'm gonna say,
well, earlier this year on the show, I said I ain't never want him back. Well, shit, I'm damn near eating that, ain't it?
you think? Well, I think there's a 0% chance.
I just need a coach, Mick.
Yeah, but we're gonna get somebody. I mean,
I don't want just nobody, and I don't want to be firing him. I don't want to be telling my kids or my grandkids, man, I went through this in this area. Y'all ain't understand how that felt.
yeah,
I don't want to be doing that shit.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be doing all that. I want to win, and I want to win now.
yeah. Keep winning.
Yeah, I don't want to go through all that stuff. All the fans went through before I,
Back in my day.
Yeah. I
That
don't
wasn't
want none of
very
that back in my day shit going on.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun.
And it's harder now too, though. So it's way harder now. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear your opinion first, because here's where I'll start. I heard some of what Greg McElroy said today, and I'll say I agree with most of
What
that.
did he say? I didn't hear him.
You didn't hear it?
Mm-mm.
He basically said that Lane had burned a lot of bridges at Alabama.
I'll tell you what I said on my show. And you guys don't have to comment.
Yeah.
When you ride up to the stadium at Bryant-Denny Stadium and you come up on that street, and on one side is the stadium and then the other side is a graveyard. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Lane's got more skeletons in Tuscaloosa than that graveyard. That's the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
So,
gun.
he might get it, but he's not getting it.
Yeah.
No, I don't even think he's a candidate. I think he would take it. And honestly, I've heard a lot of good stuff about his job, the job he's done in Ole Miss. Maybe maybe it's not the same as maybe he left Joey Freshwater in Tuscaloosa. Is that a way to say it?
Yeah.
That's a very good
Is that a way to say
it.
it? Yeah. So maybe Joey's definitely in that cemetery.
Well,
But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of burnt bridges, and if you're Greg Byrne and you're hiring, you can't hire somebody that you can't trust
right.
to do everything right, because when you're the coach of Alabama football in this state, and you haven't even coached one game, and you do stuff you get fired.
Yeah.
That happened one time. Did you guys know that?
Yeah. Tide's rolling, baby.
Yeah, time's rolling. Yeah. You go down to that strip club and use the company card. Whoop. And I mean, it's just such a high profile job. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
I agree.
Here's the thing too, though. But not only is Greg Byrne hitching his wagon to the next hire. I mean, this is Coach Saban was here when he got here.
Mm-hmm.
He's never had to go through this before at Alabama.
No.
And this is going to be, in terms of our fan base, this is going to be the hardest hire he's ever had, possibly ever in the future too. But he's hitching his wagon to this next hire. But when you think about it, I mean, Ryan, you got as many good relationships as I do with all that staff within the football organization in Tuscaloosa. When you hire somebody, you want somebody to be just an icon for stability and want them to bring success to that program for a long period of time, because you want the best to come there and work for you and know that their job is secure and they've got nothing to worry about. But the responsibilities in which they're supposed to carry out each day and do that to the best of their abilities for the players. When you got to worry about stuff off the field, outside noise, and your leader is a guy that is sitting here preaching to the players and all of his staff, you got to expect him to follow those rules and practice what he preaches more than anybody. And we've had the gold standard of that for 17 years.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking to hire a head coach, I don't want somebody that's gonna put not only my reputation in jeopardy, and I mean that in Greg Byrne terms, but you also want all your employees, training staff, nutrition staff, strength staff, everybody. I want them to feel comfortable in their role and position. They're representing the right people, and they're going to be there for a long time.
Right.
So, I mean, look, I gotta walk a fine line here, because I don't want this show to be something where, rumors are started or we trash people, because that's not. I mean, look, if you watch this show, I say a lot of dumb shit and do a lot of dumb shit, But hopefully over time, when people know me, they know that, you judge me by what I do rather than what I say, because I have fun. I'm kind of off the cuff a lot of times.
Yeah, right.
But, and I don't judge people based on one short stint or one short period of time. I try not to judge anybody at all, and I really look for the best in people. But I would hope if Lane came to Tuscaloosa, you would have a version of the Ole Miss Lane that's got his shit together and provides continuity to the program.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. And I'll tell you, if I was just saying,
again,
hey,
like you said, I think there's about 0%.
Well, right. Look, this is just my opinion, but I also go off of that, and I have respect for him. I've told Chris Lowe, I think he's one of the greatest offensive minds that's ever done this. Watching. I thought the 2014 season was amazing. Just watching that team and what they were able to do, and and win an SEC championship. You guys were on the team. I thought that was amazing, man. Really shows the best of his ability to coach. But then when he's trolling Coach Saban this year, I'm like, man, what's it going to be like if he's Alabama's coach and he's trolling people?
Well, that's what
that just doesn't work for us.
That's
man.
okay at Ole Miss, where they just want to win 10 games, and that's better than 90% of their program's history.
Yeah, right.
That's me just making up a stat, but I would imagine that's pretty close.
Yeah.
At Alabama, you don't make noise; you are the noise.
Yeah, that's right. You are the standard.
Yeah. So you need a guy in there that, again, is going to carry himself in a humble manner and is going to, lead by example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're never going to have to worry about it. How many times have you ever seen Coach Saban ever in a headline for anything other than maybe a statement in which he was a little bit too truthful, I guess? Yeah.
But every time he said something, it was always the truth.
Yeah, it was based on experience. He's been there, he's done that. And this is what he thinks.
Yeah.
And you can not like it. It can be annoying maybe, but there's definitely some truth in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's also part of this too, is, you're talking about someone coming in and having to fill enormous shoes. Not that you're, and part of it is this, you got to be yourself. You got to do things the way that you do it. Whoever gets the job is going to have to do things their way, but it's got to be the right fit. And there's some other great coaches in there,
What about Deion, man?
I like Deion, but I don't know that this is the right spot for Deion right now.
Right now, yeah.
I don't
like that answer.
Yeah, but I'm so pro Deion.
Yeah.
And people have asked me this, and I like Coach Prime, but I just think that still work through this. he doesn't really have the success yet under his belt. You know, he did a great job at Jackson State. You know, this year, honestly, I still think he did a really good job for a program that won 1 game to win 4. I mean, that's still be competitive, but
that'd be wild. That would be wild. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a candidate either. I think that I don't think that Dan Lanning's out of it. I think he's saying he's out of it. You have to.
Yeah. Man, those Aflac commercials would be wild then.
Yeah.
Couldn't save it in Dion.
Coach DeBoer of Washington to me would be a really good fit. You know,
See,
he's won a lot of places.
You get those guys from the Northwest, and I feel like they just don't recruit down here very well. Like Brian Harsin, I mean,
that's been the knock. He's been compared to Harsin.
Yeah, and I mean, look,
but what about Nate Oates?
Oh.
I mean, I know it's basketball, but he still recruits and
basketball. That's what they do up there. You brought a basketball guy down south. That's what you need.
Yeah.
He's also bringing. We got a couple guys from Canada down here, don't we?
Mm-hmm. But we've got. He's had some really good players from the state too. But I don't know. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was just in the national championship, and I know he had Michael Penix, which I've been a Michael Penix fan since he was at Indiana, and DeBoer was there at Indiana. I remember watching them because they were terrible. He showed up, and all of a sudden they started winning, and they were, you know. And then he left, and they're not any good anymore, you know. Yeah. But I don't know what the pool looks like. I'm telling you, the answer to me is get the checkbook, go to Athens, and make the guy say no. Georgia's going to have to pay him whatever you offer him. So, I mean, even if he says no, you're still making them pay. They might not have extra money for NIL when you leave.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's going to listen. You know, business is business.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you're making $10 million.
They stole him from us in the first place. We had him first.
He's a Georgia boy, though. You know?
I know.
I mean.
Wonder if there's somebody that he doesn't like.
If I was equipped to deal with all the recruiting and NIL stuff, and I was a head coach at Alabama, given being from here and playing at Alabama, I don't know if there'd be a number. If I was making $10 million a year, I don't know if there's a number out there that could beat coaching for Alabama as long as people want to be there.
That's how I feel. Georgia, where he want to be.
I mean, I just don't know. And I'm fresh off 2 national championships.
Mm-hmm. Got a team ready to.
Everybody wants me there,
and you know that you're the guy that beat you is gone now.
What about Urban Meyer? I heard his name.
Really?
Ooh. He ain't the guy for the job, is
he? Yeah, he'd be Joey Saltwater.
I figured that.
Joey Saltwater. The shame is that if Lane would have just been focused, you know, this would have been such an easy hire. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you take away all the stuff that we're talking about, you know, and you just talk about like having that the football coach, you know, this would have been such an easy, because you know he wants the job.
Oh yeah.
I mean he's frothing every time he talks about Alabama.
Saying Roll Tide more than Coach Saban was.
Locks? You got Locks up in Maryland.
Man, I've heard a lot of good things about Locks.
Yeah.
I never met him.
Locks a good dude.
I never met him.
Hell of a coach too.
Yeah. That's what I've always heard, but I've never met him. But there's a lot of people talking about him.
Yeah. He got a nice he got it set up there in Maryland just like how kind of Tuscaloosa got his love. It's like a little mini
going on.
Little mini Bama over there. Yeah. So,
isn't it funny, man? It's so crazy when I got Florida State and had the toughness, effort, discipline, pride, all that.
Yeah.
And I got to Alabama and they had the 4 fingers were on the wall, toughness, effort, discipline, pride. I was like, holy shit, this is I know where it all came from.
You're at the heart of it.
Yeah.
Right at the source.
Yeah. I've got that on a shirt from one of Saban's camps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like the 4, and I know exactly the picture you're talking about.
Yeah.
Got to be the same one.
We got a turnkey operation, man. We just need a coach. You need to bring all the administrator, everybody need to stay where they at. You need to bring you some coaches. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Everybody else good, you know.
and hire a new. Just bring in somebody. I mean, basically the associate head coach that's just a white collar guy who can handle all the administrative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Who's good at managing people, and then can handle all the training staff, strength staff, all that, and make sure it's utilized at full efficiency.
No.
And let the new coach come in and just worry about football and recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, it's such an important hire, and I know that I just have a lot of confidence that.
But here, we've talked about this the whole
time.
time. When Coach Saban leaves, who the hell is going to want to come in and follow him?
Yeah,
this got a good thing going. Why would you leave? I mean, you can say, oh, you gotta enjoy the grind. You gotta accept new challenges or whatever the hell you want to say. But at the end of the day, if you don't win at least one out of the 4 national championships over the next 4 years, then everybody's gonna be like, oh man, this ain't Alabama. This ain't what we used to be.
Yeah, but we were even doing that when we lost every year. I mean, we'd have these seasons just to tell you guys. I mean, it would be like some of those Charlotte teams would win 6 games at the beginning of the year. There would be people like, okay, we're going to win every game. It's going to be a struggle against LSU. And then you lose to Central Florida or something. He didn't lose any of those games. You really think about it. Like, how do you win all the games you're supposed to win? The only time that Alabama lost were against really good teams that played a great game.
Yeah. Outside of his first year, yeah.
What about Pruitt? I think Pruitt.
He would be, but the problem is that he's got a show clause. That means that he's out until 2029 because of what happened at Tennessee.
If he gets hired, he's suspended automatically for the first year, the entire year.
And then what?
And then I think he can coach after that.
So then the punishment would be he has to sit out a whole year.
If you hire him, you basically got to have an interim for the first year.
That's crazy.
He got screwed worse than anybody in this whole deal.
Yeah,
I hate that. That's my pick. That's the guy I feel I can take the reins and really that get it.
Just an Alabama guy, tough,
get it.
hard-nosed,
good guy. Know how to coach. Good guy to
I've
play
seen
for
him get after people like Jimbo does. I was like, oh my god.
Okay, all right. That's my dude. Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know what we're gonna do, Mick. I don't know, man.
What's the next for Nick Saban?
Shit. We need to probably. I don't know. What somebody like him do?
Yeah.
I've heard from other people that the SEC commissioner job was what he thought about after retirement. Now, I mean, obviously Greg Sankey's in place, but
he'd be great.
They need a commissioner for the entire league. So
that would be a great job.
If they could find a way to pull that off and let him create the rules and guidelines for the entire college football landscape, man, you couldn't find anybody better.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you one thing, he knows the rules and regulations better than anybody else, any other coach in the country, because he's the first one to take advantage of all of them.
Yeah, right.
Man,
it's so hard to just sit here and think about all this. I mean, really? Yeah, I mean, it's like
I feel like Tommy Boy out in the middle of the lake when the wind there's no wind out there. Just all the air's out of my sails.
Yeah. How about Bill Belichick leaving the Patriots, Nick Saban, Alabama, and the Washington coach retired today.
That's like they all had a conference call and said, "Hey, are y'all all tired of this bullshit?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done.
Talking about some great coaching right there.
Oh yeah, some historically the best coaches of all time.
Could they go with an assistant?
We might need to get Pete Carroll. Go get him a beer. I just thought about that. Make sure you'll get one of them.
Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah.
I like Freddie.
Freddie's the man.
I like Freddie. Freddie can do it too. I think Freddie can do it.
So I love Freddie.
I had this was my list. I had number 5 on my list was Lanning. Number 4 on my list was D'Amico Ryans.
I like that one.
I don't know how he could recruit, but I know he can coach.
I think D'Amico would be number 1.
Yeah.
if you.
I don't think he'll lead in the NFL.
Yeah.
College away.
He's doing great.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
right. A lot more.
Why would you ever leave NFL?
Right. He was 4 on my list. Steve Sarkisian was 3 at Texas.
Sark was around when you were there.
I would rather not deal with Sark.
We'll mark him off the list.
he ain't one of us anyway.
Yeah. Dabo Sweeney, big buyout, but an Alabama guy.
At all.
You guys played against him.
He's a dinosaur. Dabo on that back in the day shit, Mick. Yeah. That's gonna get your head beat in.
That's right.
All that. I don't want to deal with the porter. You better get with the porter. Dabo.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an unemployment line.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you.
And then number 1 was Kirby on my list.
I mean, Kirby. Yeah,
I talk a lot of shit about Kirby, but Kirby, I'd love to have you back, man. Please leave them and come back.
Kirby, I mean, it might be wishful thinking, but I'm thinking like this is Alabama. Make him tell you no.
Again, if it wasn't Coach Saban and we went 7-5 last year, I'd be like, yeah, that. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but following Coach Saban is just
but Kirby could.
It's a death nail for a professional if you fail.
It's got to be a guy wired like him.
Most likely, you're going to fail in comparison to what Coach Saban's done.
Mm-hmm. Except Kirby would.
I don't think he would. Yeah, I don't think
Kirby
he would.
The only thing like that.
Yeah,
because he wired like
he'd
that.
just come right back. I mean, look, they would. I mean, you'd have to just pay him whatever Alabama offered if you were Georgia, but you just keep on adding on to it.
But I mean, again, there's.
Would you pay a little bit more for? Would you mind paying a couple dollars more for the Coke at the concession stand if you had Kirby? Would you mind maybe if they threw a little more money on the tickets? If everybody paid another extra $15 for the tickets to go to paying Kirby's salary.
I don't think anybody would mind.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think money's the object for him.
Well, you say that, but you get it to that point where you're like, man, that's $20 million. When we hired Saban, that's what we did. We paid more than anybody paid for any of these coaches.
I think Georgia.
We people were upset. They were like, oh my God, you guys are paying way too much money.
No.
We were at that point where we were losing so much. And it was awful. Like losing to Auburn every year, losing to LSU every year. We're in Shreveport for bowl games, I mean,
damn that, man.
Yeah, and Mal saw an opportunity and he took it. But I think it's the same formula. I mean, I think that's where you start. If you go there and make him tell you no. Because, it's like, hey, this is my alma mater, da, 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 da. Yeah, it is. But you know what? You also spent a lot of time at Alabama, too. And I'm sure that there's some things that we do at Alabama that are better than what they do in Georgia. Or, maybe he doesn't like somebody over there. Maybe when you get $20 million instead of 10.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, that's the one thing that we have is that we can pay him.
We got a pocketbook.
Yeah, right. I mean, and that's normally how you look at Auburn. Who would want to go play there? I wouldn't, but you know what? Then you give me $1 million, and I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe maybe I could go there and wear that orange.
That god awful orange.
Yeah,
that might get water in my mouth.
Yeah,
you got to bring the eagle in the coat. Yeah. I need a little something else. But a little bit more to go to Auburn.
That's what's happening on the recruiting trail.
TJ almost went.
Yeah.
Did you talk him out of that?
I mean, kind of, but he was just on there. I didn't know what he was gonna do.
Yeah, I remember that.
Too much. Like, he was like, yeah. I asked him one day when we was in Alabama Mississippi game, and like he had just did like the whole stuff at Auburn, doing all the interviews, and we was in the locker room after, and we had like official. Me and him had one of his official before that. I was like, "You really gonna go there?" He was like, "No, I'm gonna go to Alabama." And I was like, "Yeah, you talking shit." And he really did. Like he was for real. I'm gonna go to Alabama. But
it's gonna take. I mean,
it was back in the day, $100 handshakes. He got his quota at Auburn, then came on to Alabama.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Burger, some fries, some wings. We'll be ready to come to school. Oh, I got a 15 piece.
Man, we were talking about this the other day. The Tyrone Prothro. I think Tyrone Prothro got cheated. You talk about a guy that was worth millions.
Yeah, we'll bring this up to Ryan.
Ryan, you tell me.
I sugarcoat too much, but this wasn't really about women's basketball. What it was about was
you're right.
Was a lack of revenue for any type of entity.
Thank you.
And basically, if you're losing money, some dipshit asking for a raise is what it was.
Right. Yeah. My point was this. Is it
That's right, again.
Thanks, Jake. Jake's my interpreter. He's like what my point
put it right on.
My point is it when you guys are out on the field and you're playing and there's $1 billion coming in and you're not seeing that, and then we're flying around and eating at 4 and 5 star, staying at 4 and 5 star resorts, and and no one's showing up for those games. To me, it's like, well, I'm not trying to cut those sports out, but my point was, this guy was great and he had a leg injury and he didn't get the money that he should have gotten for what he brought to.
No doubt.
Just I took economics at Alabama. We all went to Alabama.
Yeah.
You know how the whole thing works.
Mm-hmm.
There's a value that you bring.
Well, I mean,
Nick Saban's value is way more than $10 million. Am I right?
Yeah.
We got him at a discount. Well, what if we pay Kirby what he really deserves? Because nobody's paying him. He's not getting paid what he deserves at Georgia, what he really brings in, the economic aspect of it.
Oh, yeah.
Was my point, and you're right. It wasn't about the women's basketball. It's just about, like, the money's all coming from football. Yeah. It's coming from the athletes that play football. I think it's why Saban went and told the team first, because he appreciates that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if you're in a sales position and you help start a company and you're getting paid $50,000 a year, you grow this thing 1x, 2x every year, and your boss never gives you a raise. And it's like,
yeah, you see everybody else like staying at the 5-star resorts, and, getting paid way more than they deserve, and you break your leg, and it's like, all right, man, well, it's good knowing you. I mean, like, that's a problem to me on that, No,
I agree 100%.
That's all I was saying. But it kind of goes to the same thing as this too. Like Saban came in and he was paid like I think it was like $4 million or something back then, and then all of a sudden everybody realized, like, man, this guy's not worth $4 million. He's worth $100 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you took exactly that reason right there.
Oh yeah. Well,
look at all the new students, all the buildings.
Tuscaloosa.
I know, man.
I mean, my God. When I went to Tuscaloosa in high school, I mean, that place.
I loved it. I loved it back then.
I'm sure you did.
I loved it. You did. The old houndstooth.
I'm sure you did.
The old Gillettes. I don't mind peeing in a trough. But you're right, man. You go through there now, and it's like, man, it used to look like a whole Western town or something.
Yeah, I mean, this degenerate lived in a flooded twice a month.
I paid $365, everything included.
Can't beat it, man.
And it was big underneath there at the end of Caplewood and Reed. This old house, it's still there, and it would rain and it would flood. And Tom Roberts, who was the guy on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, eventually was my boss. His wife worked at the little building behind Gillette's, is where the office was, where you could go turn your money in. Well, after the second time, and they would send these guys out, they were going to fix it. I'm telling you, man, it would be like this much water would be in the whole place, right? Yeah. Almost up to the power outlets a couple times. And I just told her, I was like, hey, I'm not paying rent anytime unless every time it rains and I gotta like use my shop vac. I'm just not paying rent those months. So I didn't even pay the $365. Yeah. The guy that owned Buffalo Phil's is the guy that owned it, and I never heard anything. They were just like, all right, I wonder if they ever got that fixed. But it was a good deal.
So you end up just getting out after that, huh?
Well, I mean, honestly, the only reason I left that apartment was because I started working in baseball. Leave town. I loved it, man. It was, I mean, you couldn't have it now.
There's some Innisfree bartender living in there right now.
I passed it on to my buddy Pat Weaver, but no relation to Phil Weaver. I said, man, you got to get this place. So you're like me. You like a deal. If it rains and it gets in there, you just don't.
You're hoping it rains, Nick. Praying for rain.
The guys would come over to fix the place, and then they would just give me that. After they came over a few times, like, we ain't fixing this shit.
Mick slept on an air mattress of it. I
had a dog, and he would bark when it was a Jack Russell Terrier. He would be like, just start growling, and I'd walk out of the room, and it would all kind of come in the living room and the kitchen. And I mean, he barked to let me know that we were having a flood.
Damn.
That was back in the day. I mean, like it has changed a lot, and it got better because of Nick Saban. You know, like when I sold my house, the housing market wasn't great then, but in Tuscaloosa it was fine. You know, because of Nick. I mean, he hit the impact of Nick Saban on the economy in Tuscaloosa is unmatched.
The whole state, really.
Yeah, the whole state.
Yeah. So how do you replace that?
He brought so much publicity to the state in a good way.
Yeah.
You know?
So just going back to it, that's why I feel like you start with Kirby and then you go out from there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not in that spot. You know, I don't look at Georgia in a way where I'm like, they're off limits as far as going and poaching their coaches or anything like that. I think it's a
I don't think anybody's
free
off
range.
limits.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's been taking our coaches for years.
Yeah, and I from what I understand, they were working on doing some of that before Nick retired. So you know, that's kind of the game that we're in, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I like Schumer.
Yeah, and I think that there was a chance that he was going to replace. He was on the list to replace to replace Kevin Steele, who also retired.
Yeah.
During the championship game, and you know, I don't know him, but I mean, was he on the staff when you guys were there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's another one that did a great job.
Yeah.
So, but if you bring in an assistant, it's just such a tough job because you got to bring everyone together for an assistant to come in, you know, or even a coach like DeBoer. I mean, you come in and there's people that are already kind of saying, hey, man, this guy's going to be like Brian Harsin. I'm not buying into that. I think everybody's different. You know, everybody's different. I can go to anywhere in the country and find something in common with people. When I lived in Hawaii, I was that way. Down here, go up to Chicago. But everybody's different.
I mean,
Harsin just didn't have that ability.
I agree to a certain degree, but I mean, it's like we've talked in this podcast over and over again. Football in the Southeast is a different animal than anywhere else in the country.
But it would take the right personality. I mean, we had a coach from West Virginia, and he did a pretty damn good job in Tuscaloosa, right? West Virginia seems like a different world to me. You know,
doesn't to me.
He was from Michigan. Well, he came from Michigan.
Yeah.
And
who are you talking about?
Nick Saban. And the other thing about it, the other part about it is that
I thought you were talking about somebody other than I thought you were talking about Pendry at first.
No, Jimbo's also from West Virginia.
Oh yes, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, a lot of the best coaches, but that's a freaking raw environment. I mean, that's a tough, hardcore.
But it's not the South, though.
It is the South. To me, it's the South.
It's rough. Yeah, it's rough.
I mean, it's
like Appalachia.
It's the country. Like country.
Yeah, I mean, you're grinding. I mean, coaching is a
coal mining and shit.
Yeah, coal mining. Well, yeah, maybe like Jasper and Brookwood, you know, coal mining places here. But
I mean,
blue collar area.
I mean, just going to work as a coach is a blessing every day. You know, which is for a lot of people. But I mean, especially West Virginia is, you know, I want to say, I think Jimbo's dad was a coal miner. I think Coach, or at least I think he was.
He was.
And owned a store too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about
my wife's dad was a coal miner.
Huh?
Throw that out there because he'll watch.
Who's
Stephanie's dad?
Oh yeah.
In Brookwood, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, but I mean, you wouldn't think that when you think of Alabama, but you're right. Yeah, I guess there is a parallel there. You know.
Oh, I think West Virginia. That Rick Trickett is offensive line coach at Florida State.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about him.
Oh man, he's wild.
Isn't he like one of the? he goes down. I mean, in my mind, he's one of the most famous offensive line coaches ever.
I think probably is the most famous offensive line coach ever.
He's like what offensive line is to to weightlifting.
Except it's all real. I love Coach Cricket, man. He's man, the shit he used to talk and the things he used to do, I mean, you couldn't get away with it nowadays, but I mean, it was something that you would love.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever we got to do, man. I mean, I'm looking at it like whatever we got to do to get the right person. But I feel like Greg Byrne maybe I shouldn't feel so confident, but I feel like he's a silent assassin.
You got a hunch, Mick.
He's a silent assassin, man. I think that this day was going to come, and Greg had to think that this was going to happen eventually, right? And and when you're in that job, you're always kind of like, thinking about it. Another name that's popped up, it wasn't on my top 5, but Mike Norvell, who went undefeated this year at Florida State. He's another guy that's you've heard his name come up for this job. At least I heard it on some shows today. Do you guys know him at all? And
no.
I don't know Mike at all. Not at all. Have no feel for him. Again, it's one of those deals. It's all been watching him at press conferences and stuff like that. I prefer a Coach Saban type in a press conference, and that's kind of where I'll leave it. But you just never know.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I got you.
I mean,
what? Let me ask you this.
What about Harbaugh?
I never thought about him.
Yeah, he's going back. Well, he's going to the NFL.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. He's an NFL coach, and his brother's in the NFL. And when you get that close to winning a Super Bowl,
I'm gonna try just a little bit of that.
Yeah, here,
just a little bit.
A splash.
No, Ryan.
Yeah, I ain't gonna finish that.
You don't.
We got a big pro.
Yeah. Well, it's these cups, man. These vintage NFL glasses.
Yeah, you're right. He done won in college. Definitely probably go back and go do it.
Well, you get that close, man.
Yeah. He lost to his brother, didn't he?
He did. Lost to the Ravens.
Damn.
Great Super Bowl.
But I don't know if to me it's coaching down here. It's a huge plus to be from somewhere in the Southeast.
It is to get the culture.
Yeah,
you got to come down.
This is a different world.
Well, it'd be great to have a relationship with the high school coaches because that's where you start. That's why Brian Harsin didn't make it. You got to immediately get to know all those high school coaches. Like the first call you got to make is, Thompson and Hoover and Saraland, and I mean you need to know all those guys.
Yeah,
where all the players are coming.
Well,
from.
when you go meet with a recruit,
St. Paul. I mean, really, you got to do that.
A recruit's mom. I mean, most important key to the puzzle in recruiting. You better be able to have something to talk about, something you can relate to, something that is going to make them feel comfortable with you coaching their son for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why Dan Lanning seems like a guy that you would kind of fit into that. He's a young guy, and he's obviously good at the recruiting part of it. He gets the NIL stuff, and he's way out in Oregon. I mean, not all the talent, but the concentration of players is around here.
Yeah.
Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana.
Tosh to come back. That'd be smooth. I can't get Puma to highlight it out Dan and Tosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you say,
I'd like to see Dan come back for sure.
Dan.
Who's that?
I'd like to see Dan come back for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you guys have all the sources. Just tell us who it's going to be.
Yeah, I wish I have to have a conversation about that after this podcast.
The last time you said that, we go off the air, and then he made this joke, and I'd have to have it for 2 days.
You got to hear this.
Yeah, it's a different story. That's a whole show within itself.
It's a movie.
Yeah, that is a movie. And it could be.
Man.
So what were your thoughts on Auburn throwing toilet paper on the trees yet because Saban retired?
I've got a group text with a bunch of my buddies from high school, and I said, I'm pretty sad that when I go back, Coach Saban won't be there, and one of them responded with, "I'm pretty happy that when you go back, he won't be there." And I was like, obviously an Auburn graduate, and I was like, well, you know what? This is when you find out who your little brothers are.
Yeah, right.
And that's exactly what it was on full display.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
You that excited about it. Not a win. Not an accomplishment.
Retired.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play that
They gotta
Gravedigger
find somebody
for him
to hate
again.
on.
I wanted to play that Gravedigger for him again.
I want to stay in the house for about another week or so, Mick, because I'd be digging one of them motherfuckers for him. I'm allowed to put my hands on somebody right now. I ain't got time for no heckling.
This whole podcast has been like, man, I
ain't got time
we
for
need
no
to call somebody here.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for no heckling, Mick. Man, I'm Coke. I ain't got time for no heckling.
Yeah.
At all.
The funny thing is that Wendell Hudson, and I've talked about Wendell. He was awesome when I was broadcasting women's basketball. He was the coach, and I love him. I mean, he's one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so lucky because I got to hang out with him all the time. We walk,
I played golf. I told you that I played golf with Wendell Hudson.
Awesome dude. I mean, genuinely
last year.
And you talk about if we ever could get him on here to tell some of his stories.
Oh man,
he's got some good stories. But anyway,
he's you know who we're talking about? He's the first black guy to ever play basketball at Alabama. I'm right there.
Scholarship athlete.
He had a Birmingham area.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I've seen some of his story. I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, he is a great freaking dude.
Great dude.
I mean, you just know he's one of those guys as soon as you meet him, you just know he's.
I love him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I used to be afraid of flying on the charter planes, on any plane. I had this fear of flying. I don't know why, but I did. And
they didn't have a C6 for the women's basketball team.
Man, what they would do was, I used to tell him this all the time. They did make you take the lowest bid. So I already have this fear of flying, right? And then we would get out there, and these planes were shit. I mean, shit. Like some of them would have. We always sat in the back, right? Coach sat in the front, but I would sit in the back a lot of times, just with the people back there and watch movies and stuff. Sometimes they would have some of the rows roped off because the bathroom was leaking. You know what I mean? Like think about getting on a plane and they're like, all right, yeah, rows, the last 3 rows are off because the bathroom's leaking. I'm thinking, well, if the bathroom's leaking, what else is wrong with this plane?
Right.
And this is like an old plane. Like one time we had this plane, it was like the San Jose Sharks old plane. It still had like the paint job, but it looked like it was vintage at that point. And so I was always scared. And then we would, I don't know why, but every time we would go to Arkansas, the plane would do this.
Yeah.
And I'd be like this the whole time, And he would let me come and sit next to him, and we would just talk the whole time and just tell stories and stuff. And so, but he knew I was scared of these planes. Well, one time we were coming back from Arkansas, and I don't know why these guys did it, but you know how when you're flying and you see those southern black cloud storms, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, we're going to go around this, right? I mean, we're not going through this. We'll keep going towards it. I'm like, we're not. And I can see the top of the lightning bolts, you know what I mean? Like we're used to seeing them from down here, but from up there, like the beginning of the lightning bolt, like we go right through it. And
I can just see Mick grabbing his lighter.
Oh,
just ready to go.
Yeah. Man,
need some relief.
Everybody, yeah, exactly. Everybody. So we start going through, and then all of a sudden, this plane just like drops like 1,000 feet. Boom!
Oh, I shit myself.
Like everybody's drink would like in the air, and it go back into the glass and buckle up, And I remember one of the coaches was like, "Oh!" And it made me laugh so bad that I'd imitate that ride all the time. That's how I got over flying. I was scared of it after that. I said, well, if I survive this, I'm never going to go through another flight like this ever. But he used to let me come up there and sit next to him. and we would talk. And one of the stories he told me was how we got Coach Saban, because his best friend was Mal Moore.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about Auburn talking shit. I guess one of the span of losing all those games to them, you had to walk in the Auburn press box. You had to walk out by the fans and then kind of come back down. And apparently Mal was doing that. He was coming down. And then when he got out there, they started heckling the shit out of Mal Moore. And, he was a pretty nice guy, like he was like, no more, and that's why he flew down there and sat at Saban's driveway. He didn't want to go through it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They drive you to do that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know that we'd have Nate Oates if they didn't have, they have a great basketball coach too, Bruce Pearl.
Well, I mean, how long was Mal Moore the AD at Alabama?
Long time.
So, I mean, you got to think, what do you think about Mal Moore now? What is his legacy?
Well, he hired Nick Saban.
Right.
But
how many years did he lose?
Yeah, right. We lost a lot.
So you got to think he was.
It's starting over. It's like it's starting over, man.
Well, but I've been through these searches before.
Ryan needs another freaking hug, man.
What I'm saying is that Ryan, we've been through these before, and that's why I'm going back to the thing that you have is money.
Got a pocketbook, ain't it, man? We got a pocketbook. We got a chance.
Just charge more for concessions. Charge a little bit more for your tickets.
We do. I mean,
it's expensive already, but
we can't compete with Texas and A&M and I mean,
but we're competing with Georgia,
Tennessee
for this.
Yeah. But I mean, now you got to pay players and come up with money there. And even though I guess you're not supposed to, but everybody is.
Right.
We need to start a damn GoFundMe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like supporting the NIL and stuff, all of that's how life's changed. But, I as much as it pains in one aspect, the other aspect to me is that the players deserve to be compensated for what their worth is.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going back to Tyrone Prothro. That should never happen. When you're that good of a football player and your life is changed dramatically like that, and you didn't get the compensation that you deserve. Yeah. And this isn't that, I told him Q, his brother, used to come and do my show in Tuscaloosa. It's not even personal towards him. He was just a great football player, and he's a great guy to know that, but it's just the example. I'm not just talking about him. There's probably a lot of other stories like that too.
And I know Alabama's doing it now. Hell, you probably had one. I don't know if you knew about it, but I mean, Alabama they do pay for players to have permanent injury disability checks or payments.
Yeah.
Really? And maybe they did back then.
And the draft replacement, they're paying for certain guys to get reimbursed for what they.
I hope that he got that. Yeah, I hope that he got
that.
I don't know if it was like that then.
They have that now. I don't think that existed back then.
Okay,
that's why they started that shit.
I mean that's I think it is. I think he was literally that happened to him at the worst time.
Yeah,
possible.
right.
But again, I mean,
do you guys remember how good he was?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I remember Snake always talking about calling him a water bug. He would catch the ball and juke a guy and then be gone.
When he got hurt, it kind of felt like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you knew that was
the that team. I think that team with him on it could have beaten Auburn and LSU that year. They only lost 2 games. They beat, if I remember right, didn't they? And they beat Mike Leach wasn't he on the team that went to the Cotton Bowl? Might have my years mixed up.
He was, yeah.
But I think that was the year, right?
I think Jamie Christensen wanted it.
That was a beautiful day in Tuscaloosa.
Shit, now I'm sitting here thinking, I was looking for.
How old were you guys back then? I know it's going to hurt me to ask this.
What year was it? 2005?
Yeah.
I was 13.
Yeah.
So my son's was older than you.
Yeah, I was 13.
I'm not asking any more of those questions. That's a bad question to ask. Now I'm depressed. I mean, like, just maybe having gone through, like, my first game was Gene Stallings' Iron Bowl where he announced his retirement.
Was he any good?
He was
so that
great.
Was what, 94?
No, it was 96.
So that was with Langham them. That was Antonio Langham them guys.
Right? It was Freddie Kitchens was quarterback.
Okay.
And Dennis Riddle was the running back, and Alabama had a really good team. They They lost to Florida, maybe. I don't know. They lost to Mississippi State in a really tough, grinded out game.
Yeah.
Those Mississippi State games that teams that I tell you guys about that were so physical and tough, which you didn't really play against them. But when I think of Mississippi State football, that's what I think of, And
they're the
but the style that
in Mississippi State.
Yeah, but the style that he played had passed us by. I mean, you're talking Spurrier coming in and everything else.
When I was in Arizona, and I may have told y'all this story already, but I don't know, but I think I have. That when I was in Arizona, we had the late night, they called it snack before we went to bed, and I'm walking out of
with Freddie? Yeah.
Have I told you that story?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I have.
I thought you were going to bring up Manti Te'o. He's right there, by the way, if you want to see him. Getting run over by Eddie Lacy.
I'll tell you that after the podcast. I saw that for 30 for 30, and I was just like,
oh yeah.
It made sense after that game. It all made sense. When I seen all that stuff, I said that makes sense. He was hard up for it.
Yeah,
he's hard up for it.
Hang on now. What do you mean?
I know where you're at, Ryan.
Yeah.
We've already gone through this today. But I'm in his head.
Like, this might be something we have to discuss later.
It probably is.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah.
This route would be like, okay, you guys are canceled.
Yeah. It's funny, man.
We don't want to disrupt that much. Little noise, but not a lot.
Oh my God.
Every time this happens, I always leave. We send the show off. I'm like, I wonder if we're going to, and then everybody likes it. I'm like, okay, well, good. I was worried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
man.
God.
Coach us away. What do you mean by that?
Like, hang on now.
Yeah. You walked outside.
There's two scenarios here. One you can tell, one you can't.
No. I don't even.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You gotta bring us back in. Hey, let me just remind everybody that we're brought to you by Lance's Lock and lanceslock.com. If you're making your picks right now, Lance's Lock's got you covered with the NBA, with college basketball, which is in full swing, the NFL playoffs, which the Ravens are the number 1 seed. But that doesn't mean anything in the NFL.
Yeah.
But make sure you check them out. And also mybookie.ag. The next round is your promo code up to 50% price match when you spend $1,000 by using that promo code on your initial wager. All right, let's just slowed it down a little bit.
Reining us in a little
bit. Yeah. So, what do you think's going to happen when they find the next coach? Do you think it's going to be a mass exodus, or do you think that the veterans on the team are going to keep the crew together?
I hope so.
I would think the veterans keep together. From what I hear, Coach Saban's going to stick around for a little bit.
Like off the road,
not as a head coach, but like a Pendry type guy, kind of like an analyst or look. I don't know what Coach Saban's dealing with. I have no idea what where he's at as far as his personal life goes, and it's not my place to talk about it. But I think he's going to do as much as he can with Alabama while he can.
Yeah.
Just to try to create that continuity and make sure Alabama's in the right place. And so I think we're going to be fine for the next few years.
Yeah.
Right. And
whoever comes in, he's going to help them through all these issues.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I think that too. And also, I mean, I think that he's a part of whatever they're doing right now. I would think, right? I mean, he's got to be part of the hiring process. He's got his agent represents all the good coaches.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine him not having a fingerprint on the next guy.
Yeah.
And not bringing in someone that he knows can.
My first gut reaction was that this was planned all along, and that the new head coach was already in place. They just hadn't decided. They just hadn't announced it yet. Giving him time, giving this transition a little time, and they already knew who was in place. Again, nobody's has told me anything. I don't know anything. Who knows what's going on? You know, if you listen to the media, then that doesn't make sense. But they do a damn good job of keeping it under wraps, and I still have an inkling to believe that the guy's in place already. They just hadn't announced it yet.
Right.
Who that is, I don't know, but I think Coach Saban had a lot to do with it.
How about the rumors yesterday that Dan Lanning was already on a plane to Tuscaloosa, and then I don't know if he went radio silent or what, but then he came out and said that he was watching a Jason Bourne movie at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I believed it because I thought that was the ideal guy.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion. But again, it's not like I've been around the facility or seen how things operate. My experience with Dan, everybody always respected him and appreciated him, and he's done a hell of a job at Oregon. So I figured he'd bring continuity to the program and be a perfect fit for another 10 years, possibly.
Yeah.
But that was just a guess on my part. But again, Coach Saban, I know has to have some kind of hand involved in this, and so you got to trust the process. And I mean, Greg Byrne as well. You know, I've spent a little time with Greg over the years, and he's a pretty intelligent guy. So I think he's got all his parts aligned, all his moves have already been played, and I think he's got it figured out. But you know, you just never know till all the cards are played.
What was the reaction from your teammates when you guys found out? I heard Mike Johnson talking about a group text with a bunch of the guys from the 2009 team, and but some of the guys that I'm pretty good friends with that were all kind of on a group text talking about, like, obviously how lucky they were to play for Alabama, what it meant to be part of, you know, the Alabama program. Did you guys have that same experience where you like it?
I don't know. Ryan just texted me and said he felt like his dog just got ran over. So
I still feel like that, Ryan.
I don't know why.
No, I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's just like
it makes you want to just, you know.
Did you hear from a bunch of guys?
It brings back a lot of feelings.
Where it makes you appreciate it a little bit more.
Exactly. You just want to see everybody and be like, man, I love you.
Yeah, we need a reunion. Coach needs to do a reunion with everybody. I love you too.
And I'm laughing, but I am dead serious.
Yeah.
I love you, buddy.
Is that what it was like? I mean, did you hear from a bunch of people?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to put Reggie on my block list because all he do is crying shit anyway. So that's one person I ain't picking the phone up. He had you damn crying, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes you think about old memories and again, how it's all kind of, it's kind of depressing to say it, but it's all kind of gone. And you just gotta,
it's the end of an era. You know,
we're getting old, I guess.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I need to start having me some kids and getting me a bride lawnmower and shit, man.
No, I'm with you. I know. I got gray hair, man. Like, what happened? But it really the 17 years to be from my seat, you know, to be there from before, and you know, all the losses, and then the plane when he comes in, and then the going.
Were you alive for a national championship before Coach Saban got there?
I wasn't, but it was before when Alabama won in '92.
So was Alabama ever good during your childhood?
Yeah, that 92. My neighbor in Baltimore was from Northport.
I was born in 92.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So when I was growing up, Alabama
was terrible.
05 was the best year, which was a good year, but that was the best year we ever grew up with.
Yeah.
So, you know, You can.
I didn't live down here then, though. So when I got down, was 96, which was we were good. We weren't bad. We were one of the better teams.
So y'all was competing.
Okay.
Oh yeah, look, one of the biggest mistakes they made was they should have let Gene Stallings stick around a little longer. The thing about these coaching searches is if you're going to get rid of, like, it wasn't the same situation. He retired, but it was going back to what I said in the very beginning about the athletic department not being on the same page, in my opinion. And I'm sure I'm right. And they ran him off.
Yeah.
And then they brought in another guy that just it wasn't the same. And then that led into all of a sudden now you're winning 3 games.
Right.
It wasn't 10 wins wasn't good enough.
So if we're going to talk about this, I mean, so you grew up in Baltimore. You're a Ravens fan.
Well, I was a Cowboys fan. We didn't even have the Ravens.
Okay.
That was I had the Baltimore Colts.
When I was a kid, we had the Colts, and they packed up and moved away.
So you're
when
a
I was
Cowboys
a little kid.
fan. You got some wins there.
Yeah, I enjoyed those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, imagine being born in '92 in Alabama.
Yeah, terrible, right?
Alabama's the only show in town, and you're just getting skull dragged across every field in America. And
kind of like a Colts fan.
And
I wasn't one then.
And there's nothing else to cheer for.
Yeah.
So, you can bitch and complain about your time as an Alabama fan, but that was my child. That was our childhood.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've tried to explain this. I've tried to explain this at home a few times. The Colts were like in Baltimore, were like the Bama, and I've tried to, and people were like, well, and I'm like, it'd be like Alabama packing up and moving to Indiana to play football. They say, you don't even have a team. And we always, my dad loved
Indiana of all places.
I know, my
cold.
dad.
I mean,
yeah.
If you're gonna leave, go to Miami. Go to, go somewhere nice. You go to Indianapolis.
I know.
We were that bad.
The Colts were terrible, but it was a stadium issue. But my dad was a big Redskins fan. Okay. Loved the Redskins, and they were really good. But they were in DC, so it'd be like, yeah. So I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, when I got to school, we were good, and then all of a sudden, we weren't so good anymore. Yeah. And then I was there. You guys were like little kids, and I was like there, having to find other stuff to have fun besides going to football games and losing. But we still win all the time. It was like the thing about it is we still supported the team. Which is what you love about Alabama. Even when we were bad, we still.
When I say all this, I joke around.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Like Auburn 9.
But you know what the thing is? This is the thing about those teams. They were bad record wise, but they were really only 10 players away from being good.
Yeah.
You know what? And you know what I'm saying by that? Like,
they
were just 10 guys or 5 guys away. And so we talk about them. Some of those teams.
They're just depth.
They just did. Yes, right. They were still good, but they just weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, like you would see these teams and then a guy gets hurt and then they didn't have the depth. Like Saban came in and it was like waves of guys. And I saw it when he was at LSU, where you're looking at the roster and you're like, man, these guys don't, we're breaking these games down and you're like, how are these guys undefeated? Because you're looking at their starters and you're looking at your starters and you're like, we match up with these guys. And you did for the first half and into the third quarter, but then they wear you down, and then he comes to Alabama and you see it in person. But then all of a sudden, when he got to Alabama, it was stars everywhere.
Yeah.
Stars.
Every position. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sending them in waves.
Yeah. It was waves of guys.
It makes sense.
You know that.
Well, one guy goes down, you got a guy that's just as talented without experience coming in there.
Right. Yep. Waiting their turn. And what really is amazing that the focus that the teams had, your team, and I love it when I hear I hear guys from different championship teams ask, like, what was Alabama's best championship team? And I've heard people say 09. Hey, 09, we play by the rules that we used to have to play by. We could beat anybody. You guys feel that way. I mean, that's a pretty damn cool feeling.
That argument goes on between everybody.
I love that though. Isn't that great?
Shit out of 09. gonna say it, Nick. I don't care.
They had some good players,
They
though.
did.
Think about this. They had NFL guys all over the place. They had a Heisman Trophy winning running back. It's a pretty good team.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still like that 15 team.
I'm sure.
You know what I'm talking about, Coach.
I don't know where that echo is coming from.
It's coming from there. I think I just fixed it. All right, so take your team out of it, because we know that 2015 is the greatest Alabama championship team. Who's second best?
2009.
2009.
Then 2000.
Trent Richardson. I love Trent Richardson. He was one of my favorite Alabama guys.
I like him and Mark. They whole campaign.
Yeah, that was a great team.
I love him and Mark campaign.
You remember watching that season and like just living and dying with that team, that Iron Bowl?
And they had Dante Hightower and Courtney Upshaw and Mark and yeah.
That's some bad dudes.
Trent.
The game that they played against Florida to win that SEC is one of the greatest games I've ever been to.
Well, those guys built a mentality that lasted over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, those, again, when, I mean, we're joking around about which team would win, but I know when I was playing, a lot that came to mind was playing in a way that a guy that played before me would be proud of.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what it was about. Shit, that's why I went there. Like, that's literally like why I was so like just infatuated with Alabama. Once like that time came, it was just like it wasn't what they was doing, it was how they was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the high school is like you want to. It's like in your head is like could you really like could you be a part of that? Like,
yeah,
that's what it was for me. Was like could you like etch your way out into this type of shit? So that's what it was all about for me. Like just going and prove that I can like play. I could like Upshaw, Hightower. Like if I can make those plays in those games and play a role in that defense how they did. So it was definitely like about them. It still is to me. I talk some shit, but like they the standard.
Yeah,
they the standard.
To me, when I think of Nick Saban, and I did a video on this the other day, and I was like, okay, I got to stop talking because this could get me choked up. But we lived in Tuscaloosa in 2011, and I was on the road with baseball, and the tornadoes came through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it was like scary, like I was on the team bus with a guy named Trey McNutt who also lived in Tuscaloosa, and I didn't have an iPhone. Mm-hmm. And we stopped.
You said Trey McNutt?
Do you remember him? Trey McNutt. He played baseball for the Cubs, but he lived in Tuscaloosa. He went to Shelton and was drafted out of Shelton. But we're watching Tuscaloosa where it got hit by the tornado on the cell phone. And I drive everywhere now because we had another 4 hours. Then I had to go from Tennessee and I had to get home because I was like, I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And I took off of work. Actually, the guy that filled in for me is one of the Yankees broadcasters now, Justin Shackle. I was like, Shaq was my partner on the air. And I was like, I got to go home, dude. Like, I'm going home. And so I just got my car and went straight home. And I'm driving through like trees down all over the place and stuff. And I get to Tuscaloosa and we were all right. We were about 1.5 miles, 2 miles from where the path of the tornado. So we had to replace our roof. But I mean, you remember where the path was, right? Like we come towards Hooters and all that stuff. And then on the other side of that. So we lived down 69 South and near Taylorville, but we
came through McFarland. Yeah. Right there where the CVS is.
Came right down the interstate.
South of that.
Yeah. And then, so I'm like, I just gotta do something, So, it was Coach Saban and the football team. I took a week off and we went on golf carts and I was on with a bunch of the players and we were driving to places and helping people like get their belongings out of their house and consoling people. And when Nick Saban came to Alabama, I remember this. It was like, hey, if you see him on campus, don't stop him. Don't bother him. You know what I mean? Like, I think there was even an email that might have gotten sent out. It was like, because people wanted to worship, and it was like, how he is. Not trying to stop to have small talk, And so, I mean, he's definitely an intimidating guy, you know. And then that happened, and you just saw a different side of him, man. I mean, like all the things that he did for people in the community, and the I mean, it changed my life, man. And I think that a lot, like that team went on to win the national championship. It just meant that had a special spot in my heart, just kind of because I can still see it, man. I see people that I met in Alberta City, and you know, and then obviously like it blew over like a whole complex. It looked like a bomb went off, you know, like we were out there doing stuff, and giving people water and everything. I feel like that was kind of one of the things when I think of Nick Saban, like that's, you know, when the community needed him, he's really one of the only people that could have done all of that stuff, because I think I left there thinking if Nick Saban was in the military, he'd be the greatest military general. Like whatever he does, he's going to do it better than everybody else.
Oh, he just leads better than everybody
That's what I
else.
mean. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's completely by example, and his mentality, the focus on everything he does is so far greater than anybody else I've ever seen.
No doubt.
I mean, there's one singular focus all the time, and there's no bullshit. There's no pity for anybody who doesn't do their job. I mean, it's here are the facts. Here's what you got to do, and you go do it.
Yeah.
I don't care how tired you are. I don't care if you've been screwing around doing whatever here and there. You got a job to do, and that's it.
Yeah. Well,
and if you don't do it, you're held accountable for it.
Right. And well, that day it was like, and that week, and you know, and then after that, it was like the way that he kind of got the community to rally around the service. I mean, going to people's houses that were destroyed, everything that they had. You know, some people lost family members and stuff, and to have the guys that they look up to, you guys, showing up and being like, hey, can I help you get that dresser out of there? You know, can I help you put a tarp over your house? I mean, those things meant a lot to people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, really, like, I saw it. I was there for it. I rode around with Michael Casagrande and Finest Gadsden's car doing stuff one day. I mean, it was every day. It was like, hey, what time have we got to be here? You know?
Yeah.
And go out and do that stuff. Whatever they needed, we just did it, right?
That's what's up.
And it was, I mean, it was like life-changing, man, you know?
Yeah.
I think about that. And then I think that probably changed him just like it changed me. You start to see things a little bit different, you know, when you go through something like that. Because as bad as it was, the thing that I remember the most is how everybody was on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like you go into different communities, different neighborhoods that maybe you wouldn't have gone into, and everybody was just happy to see you know? And I felt like Nick Saban was a big part of that. So I appreciate that 2011 team. And it just felt like that championship felt, you know, beating LSU and all that. And this one right here. But the houndstooth ribbons and all that stuff was awesome. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, they was on there. That was a good team too.
Yeah.
Damn good team.
It was a fun time down there. I had 50-yard line seats.
Yeah.
First row. LSU never crossed it once.
No, we
I was watching that in Tallahassee.
That was a display one. It just dominance, man.
We were sitting next to all the Smellies. You remember them? Their family.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the corn dog.
No.
Yeah,
Brad's family, and like, cause they were sitting right next to us at the game, and it was you know how you're at the game, you just get to know everybody. There was a lot of high fiving in that game.
I like old Brad. Brad made a few catches in that game. Didn't
he? I was thinking it was like his cousin and some of his family members.
Parker Bear knows. That's his brother-in-law.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. I think his older sister's married to Brad's. The Smelly that played at South Carolina.
I remember
Parker
him.
B.
Quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I saw him play in high school one time.
Good guy.
Sling it, man. I don't know him personally. I just saw him. I mean, you talk about a high school team that could sling it.
Mm-hmm.
He was out there just throwing the ball all over the place. So, Yeah, so that one to me, I don't know, man. I enjoyed all of them.
No.
It's like trying to pick your favorite kid.
That one was like being a Saints fan when Katrina came through.
Yeah. Great comparison.
Oh, yeah. Because I think everybody remembers Katrina. I don't think people remember the devastation that happened after those tornadoes.
Yeah, there's the ribbon right there. Daniel Moore even put it on the print. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, and it was like I drove from Tennessee down, and you would just keep passing paths that storm went through. I think it was like more than one tornado. It was a bunch of. It was an outbreak.
There was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, some big ones though. Like that one, the one that went through Tuscaloosa, if I remember, was like 88 miles long and a mile wide, and it was like I climbed on.
There was a tornado 2 or 3 years ago that went through Jackson. I think it was Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah,
and people were finding pictures in Tuscaloosa or somewhere in North Alabama, north of here, Alabama. They're finding like belongings of people that live 60 miles away, 80 miles away.
That's crazy.
I mean, and look, this was my ignorance being, from Baltimore. I would hear these storm stories and I would be like, oh, come on, man. Now, like the other night when it got bad down here at 4 a.m, I was up,
Locked and loaded.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at the thing,
So y'all don't get storms like that.
No. No.
This shit for real, not protocol.
No. It is a perspective.
If you hadn't been through a storm around here, then you can't recruit South Alabama.
No, we were talking about the one that we had the other day. I ran into my neighbor and he was like, yeah, Hurricane Frederick came through.
My dad and my mom talk about that storm.
That was what was that? When that storm came? Was it the
70s, 78 or 9 or something?
Yeah.
But he was talking about this whole area and then I started looking at all these trees.
That's the worst one.
I hate these trees, these water oaks we have.
Yeah.
Talked about, I need to call your friend. I want them out of here. And
you
didn't see it. A giant branch fell right outside of the studio.
Oh yeah.
And I started looking at these trees and I was like, if these were planted in like 80. You know what I mean?
Well, because once they get about 80 years old, that's when they start hollowing out and getting.
Well, yeah. But my point was like, I wonder if it just knocked all the trees down, and then that's why we have
water oaks are the worst.
They're the worst ones. I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I got one in my deck.
Fall down. Yeah.
I know.
I need to get him out.
Yeah.
It was here when I got here, and then I had the guy come and cut a bunch of the branches off. But I was like, that we need the ambiance.
Yeah.
And now every time a storm comes, I told the guy, I said, cut it so if it falls, it's not going to fall on my house.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They grow fast.
Yeah, they do. We cut one down around our house too. Water oaks. That ain't good business.
No. The magnolias are good. The
magnolias suck too.
Well, you don't like them. They don't fall over in the bad storms.
Yeah, every one of my neighbors has about 10 of them in their yard. I swear to God, I was thinking about calling somebody at midnight to cut all this damn thing. Just pretend like Frederick number 2 came through. Just cut them all down.
My son
every Saturday I had to pick those damn leaves up. I was cussing every neighbor I had.
Yeah, bagging them and taking them to the road.
If I was out there and one of my neighbors was walking their dog, he'd get an earful.
Yeah. Damn trees.
The stuff you worry about when you own a home,
you ain't like that one you got big, man.
It's a big one. There's some big ones back here. Yeah. It's probably why they sold the house. We were like,
you're spoiled on all your when you worried about damn magnolia trees and your leaves in your yard.
Yeah. As I said, there's another one coming on Friday, so
yeah, it's supposed to get cold after that too.
I know, I don't like that either.
Nick, I dealt with the worst on Wednesday. Friday can't be nothing, can't do shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Come on with it.
Yeah, come on with it. So what do you think? Like, what do you think the next step is? Do you think in the next, where they said 72 hours or whatever, do you think we're going to have a coach in the next day?
Man, I hope so.
I mean, I
need to feel something. I need to be pissed or glad. I ain't feeling nothing right now, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think that we got before we worry, we just got to see what he does. You know, I've heard some rumblings that the hire is going to blow people away, but I don't know. I never know what to believe and what not to believe.
I'm at the point now. I've heard so many damn rumors. I'm just tired of following it. I'm ready to hear what the plan is.
Yeah,
and that's where I'm at. You know, I don't care how long it takes anymore. I just tell me who the guy's going to be, and I hope I like him.
Yeah.
You know,
or he made me like him. Shit.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to I want a W. I want to win, man.
I hope it's not one of those hires where you're like, oh boy, you know, like when Auburn hired Brian Harsin.
I know the whole.
I knew the minute they hired him, I was like,
it could be a little rush. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping don't happen.
Yeah, I hope I don't have to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's what's going to happen. I mean, the one thing that you are dealing with is buyouts. Somebody sent me a list of buyouts. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I'll just read through this and you guys can tell me if this is what you heard. Dan Lanning, $20 million.
I heard it's more than that.
Okay. Kalen DeBoer, $12 million. Dabo Swinney, 7.5. But then he sent me another one that said that it would be $60 million because there's a clause about coming to Alabama.
Good God.
James Franklin, $6 million. Mike Norvell, $4 million. Like, no one really likes Franklin but me. I like Franklin from his Maryland days and then what he did at Vandy. But I mean, I know he hasn't gotten over the hump. Yeah, and see, I think that would be one.
Yeah, I don't know about Frank. I mean, Franklin's one of those, I think, that
hasn't won the big game.
I think he'd win 10 games, you know.
We get tired of it.
Yeah, man, I win 10 games and doesn't really get us there. And again, I may be wrong. I mean, I think he's a good coach, no doubt about it. But 10 games is kind of where we sit, and national championships are just out of reach.
Mm-hmm. So, no chance for Dabo.
No, I don't want nothing to do with
Dabo.
Dabo.
It's $60 million.
Man,
yeah.
Dabo ain't worth it. Then you got to fire his ass. You don't want to deal with that.
I think the concern with him, to me, and I always thought that he would be the next coach, is just how he's not really embraced the system, how it's changed, you know. And I know that there's a lot of reluctance to it, but I mean, I watch him coach and I watch his teams, and I think that they're tough and they play the game the right way and everything. But I mean, you got to deal with the way that the rules are.
I trust Greg Byrne. If Dabo was a guy, I mean, I'd support him.
He's won championships.
The thing that gets me the most is that damn TikTok where he goes hickory dickory dock with the damn gloves on. I'm like, oh man, he's sold out. He's sold out.
Yeah. What'd you say, Coke? Either you in or you ain't. Yeah, you old school or not.
Yeah. But you know what though? He played at Alabama. He loves Alabama too. You know, I met him at the football complex back when he was doing real estate. You know,
for the Paul crew. Sean Watson run 90-some plays on our ass. He don't love us. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't want Dabo. I'm with you now, Mick. Shit. I'm all in on Kirby.
The worst thing I ever saw Coach Saban do was that dance after the Cotton Bowl we won. That's about it.
I was thinking about this last time we were hanging out. Were you guys the team that they play the song on the sideline and everybody would jump around? Yeah. I still hear that song in my head.
Texas A&M, we beat them in 2014, like 59-0.
Mauled them.
I think that was when it started.
I love that. Yeah.
I don't know what song that was, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you later.
Yeah.
Right, you been listening to that on tonight.
I'm listening to some Frank Sinatra, some shit. I ain't hearing nothing to get my head bad.
Yeah, right. Right now, I just got to keep it smooth. We don't need that.
Little Auburn flag in the yard with knocked on the door. Roll Tide. You're ready to fight.
The main thing I remember about that is old Darren Lake getting after it. That song.
Oh yeah. Lake like a fool, cut a rug.
What is Lake up to now,
I ain't no
man?
telling. I need to put APB out on there. Dan Lake, if you got a damn phone or Wi-Fi internet down there in Sumter County, you get a hold of me. Anybody know I can get a hold of Dan Lake, let me know.
God, Lake was great. He was great.
Oh, Lake. Straight up and down like 6 o'clock.
From Yorktown, right?
Yeah. Something, York, somewhere. Like Something, York, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll know, man. Maybe by the next podcast. Maybe the next podcast is us talking about the new coach.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Hopefully in a good manner.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah. It's gonna take some time for me, Mick. I'm telling you, I'm gonna need some time to get over. Just get myself together.
Yeah, I'll tell you the way that it came down is exactly the way.
Just have to go to games together for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
In.
We might just need to go to the camp and have a beer.
That's happening pretty soon.
Yeah,
anyway.
We need probably. I don't know if I want to go to a game right now.
We're going to the camp for the next 3 weeks.
Let's hit the camp. Go feed them damn cows and shit.
I had a Instagram, or my wife had an Instagram story of my daughter feeding a cow up at the farm. So
Go
that's
raising
what
up
he's
right.
talking about.
He's bringing up right.
Oh yeah, I'm raising a hellion. No doubt about it.
Well, I think we've just about said it all today. Anything else that we missed that you guys want to
roll tide, man?
Roll tide.
Yeah, roll tide,
man.
Yeah, I'd say keep your spirits up. They're going to do the right thing here. I believe in Greg Byrne. I mean, the hire that he's had some good hires. I mean, and Nate Oates. I know it's basketball, but to think that I think we have one of the best basketball coaches in the country.
I think so too.
And I think that this one, he knows that everything that we do financially is based on what happens on that football field.
Mm-hmm. So we got to bring out the checkbook.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, I don't think that
you got to invest in football.
You got to. Like,
the investment has to be football.
Where we got into trouble before was we were in probation, and we weren't putting the money out, and we made some bad decisions too. We could have had Bobby Bowden, and obviously we didn't do that. So we'll see what happens, but I think that they're going to be able to look at what Mal Moore did and say, hey, we know that this is one thing that we can control with this hire. And I'm confident that they're going to make the right hire.
I feel a lot better about it now, Mick, since you put it that way.
Yeah, they know that.
You never told me no story. I'm going to ride it out with you, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart business guy. I mean, we'll pay a couple. If for the right coach, hey, charge us a little bit more on those tickets, when I'm waiting in line for the whole third quarter.
No, don't make the plans.
When I get up there, I'll pay
tuition.
Yeah, put them on the tuition.
Yeah, put it on the tuition. Room and board.
Hey, look, I live here now, so put it on those out-of-state kids.
Straight up at the Mick.
Get them. Well, this was fun, man. I feel honestly, this has been therapeutic for me.
No doubt. I feel a lot better, Mick. I feel a lot better, man.
Well, it's fun hanging out. We'll do it again. Let's go ahead. What are you going to say?
I don't know. I'm over here. I'm
sick as a dog, Coke.
I've never seen Ryan. I've never seen him like this, and I've seen him go through some shit.
I'm sick as a dog, man. Yeah. I don't know how to feel right now, man. I probably just put the music on and ride. I don't know why I might end up tonight, Mick. I'm I might go check your crab trap.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea.
That's what people don't understand is it's such a it was a monumental part of our lives.
Yeah.
Coach Saban, and I know he's doing it for a reason that's unselfish in terms of retiring without announcing it to everybody. And I think it says a lot about him. But
I just don't want to be like them Bow Bryant guys you see every now and again when you got an event out. I played for the Bow. Is that me now? Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's us now.
Yeah, it's gonna be us.
Fuck, me. There's a lot going on right now. It's a lot to take in, man. It's a lot to take in.
You guys
I'm be overwhelming people with Nick Saban stories that they don't want to hear. I gotta do that play for the bad seat.
All right, before we go, we might as well hit the 2-hour mark on this. I want you guys to give me one or two of your best Nick Saban stories. We've already given some on here before, but I mean, I'm sure you got plenty of them. It could be getting in somebody else's ass, could be getting in your ass. I mean, whatever it is, you tell me. Give me some good Nick Saban stories for anyone that lasted this long on the podcast.
Well, I say he sent me home from Miami. That probably was that probably was my craziest story from him. So I break curfew. I wake up the next morning thinking he don't know. You know, the leadership guys, it's all good, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me, you just need to walk a thin line the rest of the trip. So me and my buddy Dylan, we go to get breakfast. We walking out a whole damn chow hall, get quiet. Dylan say, dude, they know. So we eating food. He coming in just so he call us. So going out, we give our whole spiel. Dylan was the talker. So, Dylan said everything. And then he asked me, and I was like, I feel how he feel. And he said, huh? I said, well, he said, just like that. He just lost it. That's how I ended up on the bus for real. It was the reaction that got it. I'm like, man.
You didn't know what to say.
No, shit, Dylan did good. He did good. I was a tough act to follow, Mick. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah. He's like, I was pointing like what he said. He lost it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you for real? Like, he got up. Like, I just couldn't believe it. But at the same time, it was like I was trying to stop, like, not to laugh too.
Yeah, right.
But that might have been the craziest one for me. Then when I got back to school, he was like, yeah, everything good, you learn from it. I'm like, man, I've been on the bus for 24 hours. I ain't learning some shit. I'm leaving. I ain't learning from that. You should have did me like that. Yeah, man, I got a dude I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Michigan. I stayed out for like 4 hours. Dude at the bus stop, I get him some food. He on the same damn bus as me going to Tallahassee and then to Fort, it was Tallahassee and Pensacola. He on the bus the whole time. Making seats everywhere. There's some bitch sit right next to me. So I had to deal with that the whole time.
Who was it?
I don't know. I don't know. To this day, I didn't know his name. I got him some food at the bus station. The whole ride, Mickey talking my head off. I said, I ain't never going back to Tuscaloosa. That's the whole thing I'm saying. I ain't never going back there. Everything in the room, my TV, my guy, they can have that shit. I ain't going back. But I'm glad I did, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did.
Good thing we didn't have the transfer portal.
Oh, yeah, I was gone. Thank God Mo Smith hadn't arrived then.
Yeah,
Mo
right.
Smith, you started this shit, Mo.
We talked about it the other day.
Yeah, Mo.
Yeah, we did.
I'm done with you, Mo. You made Coach retire.
When was the moment that you realized that that experience, obviously it benefited you?
Probably my senior year, we were still telling the damn story before we got on the plane. He'll just bring it up.
The funniest thing about him is he'll tell stories about that or make comments, and you're like, the guy you're talking about.
I'm right in the room. Hey, Ryan, raise your hand. Hey, my last shot, how he did me. You like, say, hey, that's Ryan. Don't play around these trips. I'm like, damn, coach.
That time you remember that time he's making the speech, he's talking about guys that are being individuals that are like, wearing all this weird shit. And he's like, you got your freaking, in his terms, or he's like, you got your freaking orange hair. And he kind of makes eye contact with our Darius Stewart. and Stu's like, I didn't do this on purpose. That was my natural hair.
Oh my God.
Everybody's looking at our next like, well, what?
Yeah,
this is real.
I was born with it.
I tried to do this shit. So funny, man. Jesus Christ. They still trying to stand out. Oh, God.
That's a good one.
Dog.
That's one of the funniest ones that I could probably just tell on a podcast, but there's so many damn good ones that can't be repeated. Just and they're not crazy or anything. It's just stuff that's funny to us and would be funny to everybody, but that's his place to share them.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah.
Locker room talk, stay in the locker room.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Jake?
Shit, that was probably the funniest one. I mean, that I can share is the Ardarius one. You trying to stand that with your arm? No, Darius just sitting there.
Take it.
Hey, you know what? Something I know we're supposed to be wrapping it up. We got to bring up the rings. Did you see the Pawn Stars?
Oh, yeah.
Where the guy pawned his Alabama rings?
Who?
Keelan Robinson. He played in 2000, and they pawned them on the show Pawn Stars.
You know how much you got for those rings?
What they gave him?
$50,000, isn't that right?
40.
Oh, shit.
They gave him 40, which means the rings are probably worth like 60.
Yeah. Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
the actual physical value of them are like $500.
Yeah.
But they gave him $40,000 for those rings.
On the show.
And who the hell is he?
It's like a backup running back that transferred to Texas.
I don't know. I'm just saying. What's he? What year? 2000?
Yeah.
2020.
I'm sorry, 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Oh, he's young.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I asked Jake if he wanted to go on Pawn Stars.
Yeah. If y'all want to see it turn to WWE SmackDown. Think they lowball me, I'm coming across the camera. Ain't no debate. Now, I know you got this camera as a TV show. It ain't no TV show. No more. I'm going to flip the script, man.
That guy, Rick.
Be ready to peel me off on.
Yeah, this is about to get real.
Yeah. What'd you say you want? 2 million, 2.5 million. Any other thing, Chubb, them. I'm coming across the camera.
We were talking about it, and then the show came on the other day. I was like, I thought we were talking about another team. When he was
Yeah, no
mentioning
idea
this,
what I was talking about.
Yeah, I
Of
just
course,
thought
you hadn't heard about it either.
No. I ain't
Yeah,
never
no
seen
idea.
two Pawn Stars.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta go check it out now.
Yeah,
Vegas.
he couldn't believe it.
Mm-mm.
And right after we got done talking about it, he's just screwing around in his living room, and that episode comes on.
Yeah, we were walking out, and we had just met. He had brought it up, like you had brought it up another show, like we were talking about these rings, and then the show was on in my house, and we were just standing there talking about it, and I was like, man, just intriguing, and I sit down and do some work, and all of a sudden I see the guys got those Alabama rings, all three of the rings, and in the box and everything, and I was like, wow, I was blown away.
I still can't. I mean, it's
He had him
amazing to
sitting
me.
at his work, just out like at a
I
display
did. I
at
had him
work.
just sitting out on a desk. And I got when I saw that episode, I was like, I'm getting these out of here.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna start getting ideas now.
I don't know who's coming up here.
It was a good idea.
I might do mine how Coach did his. Get him like putting the little thing.
A little glass box or
Yeah.
something.
No, he had him like on his desk. I had him like in them little.
I remember he
Like
had
you could just sit down.
he had so much shit on his desk. I just remember walking in and being like,
Yeah.
that's another trophy or another.
I'm gonna do them to mine. I'll be damn. Keelan Robinson was sell out.
Rob maybe needed the money. That was before NIL.
Price just went up now. The goat retired.
Yep. That, and also like now, like you can make that money anyway. Like if you're playing.
Oh yeah. Well,
you would think.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess
Depends on if you're playing or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that you would want to give that up, but man, 40,000 is a lot of money.
40,000, no.
Whew.
I wouldn't sell those rings for $40,000.
No.
He
No
must
way.
have played. Did he play in it?
He was a backup. So
I remember the name.
Yeah.
I remember the name for sure.
He played for Texas so, when he was there, but
Hell, you were still playing when that was going on. You probably weren't even paying attention.
2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I didn't
Yeah.
have a clue. I was so caught up into my own shit.
Yeah, right.
That Dylan, you know what's going on in DMV there with watching that setup. I went from damn sugar to shit.
yeah.
And it happened fast.
Yeah.
You hear me? It wasn't no regular shit. It was porta potty shit, Nick.
Yeah.
It was blue shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get back together when we know who the coach is.
Yeah.
So I'll be here, man.
We'll be on, I guess, twice next week. So we got 2 chances.
Yeah.
I need you to come back, Ryan.
I'll be back around, Nick, just to show us I'm here.
I'm gonna have to work with Ryan between now and next week.
I'll be all right by
get him
then.
back
I got what's today? Thursday, Nick?
Thursday.
I got Thursday today. Give me the Sunday. I go to church. Shit, Monday I'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about like perspective too. I mean, think about it. I mean, how many coaches are ever anywhere for 17 years?
That's exactly. We've been spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
We've been spoiled right.
Yeah,
That's
we have.
all it is.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. Guys, don't forget to get in the comment sections. Tell us what you think. We appreciate you hanging out. Like and subscribe. Make sure that you share the show as well. And keep your head up. It's good things are going to happen. Fingers crossed. Get that checkbook out, Alabama. And don't forget, our show's brought to you by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code NEXTROUND, and you get a 50% off up to $1,000 price match when you make your first wager. And if you need any help with the picks, Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. He's been hot lately on a heater, and he'll help you get there as well when you're talking about college basketball. So many big games coming up. The NFL playoffs, which start this weekend, and, the NBA, and check it out, lanceslock.com. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and we will talk to you again soon. Roll Tide.